Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome into Flying with Mike. And right now we are having OBS problems, which is a normal thing here. Hey, it's starting to catch up. All right, so here we are. We are down in the Philippines. This was actually supposed to be zooming in right now. And, well, you know how things go sometimes. So, um, we're going to just kind of hopefully ease it in here. Let's see what happens. Okay, well, that'll work. We're down in, as you could tell in the title there, Manila in the Philippines. There probably could be some fun things to say, rhyming wise, was it? But we'll leave it at that. Manila in the Philippines. So we're going to do an in-country flight here today, Philippines, Manila here down to Cebu, and we're going to enjoy it in the A320 Neo from Toliss. It's a nice, I've always loved flying into here. I've been into this airport quite a bit with a variety of different VAs. It's fun to fly into. Cebu, only been in a couple of times. It's actually kind of fun too. So I hope to enjoy this ride in here. Just kind of letting y'all see the area here as we kind of lost a little of that in the opening intro there. So, but again, welcome in. He is risen. Happy Easter to those of the Protestant and Catholic faiths. Welcome into Flying with Mike and this day after Resurrection Sunday. And there is the beastie to take us to Cebu, the masked bandit, as we'll call it. Matt. Awesome. Dude, that is awesome to hear. Matt, 1997 here, closing out the last of his solo requirements for his private pilot's license. That is absolutely awesome. Good luck to you. Be safe up there. Enjoy. Nothing like it. I miss flying real aircraft like is unbelievable. People can't imagine how much I wish I could get back to it. For me, it's just a bit too pricey. So I have to settle with flight simming. But folks, boy, if you get the chance, there's nothing like flying the real thing. Albeit a Cessna, Piper, or Beechcraft. Now, if you get to fly the real thing, thumbs definitely up for you. But nervous going, well, I understand. I get it totally. Like I said, I was there many years ago at one time. That first solo is always a nerve-wracking one. Boy, 90 hours. Wow. Um, but that solos and practice to build up for the uh, flight with the chief pilot, instructor pilot, however they call them today, to get your license. Oh, boy, I know how nerve-wracking that can be. Oh, been there, done that. Yeah, well, at least I got the license to show for it. But no, still, I know what it's like. So good luck to you, man, and hope you do well. So flying alone is always kind of a little nerve-wracking till you get the hang of things and feel real comfortable with the bird. I was blessed in being able to fly. We only had 4 Tomahawks at the Aero Club in Wright Pat, most of which is what we did our flight training in. So when I went with the chief pilot, it wasn't as daunting. I knew the planes inside and out. But if you fly a myriad of planes, like I know some people, some schools do. Um, Easter was, believe it or not, yesterday. Oh, your Easter is this Sunday. Got it. Okay, I was gonna say it was just yesterday, because it very rarely occurs on my birthday. So, last time was 50 years, 55, not 50 years ago, 1955. So it doesn't really occur often on April 9th. So, all right, so let's get back into it, folks. And good luck to you there, Matt. Wish you the best on that final solo flight. All right, so we're in Philippines. Livery today. They actually do have A320s. The airline I wanted to fly for, Cebu, well, we don't have a livery yet for them. We have them in 319s and I think a 320 for flight factor, but we don't have one for the Neo just yet. The Neo's just out, so not complaining by any stretch. The fact I have this is great. All right, so let's take a look here. First, you can see some of the little eye candy things they have here, like the catering trucks you can activate, and when you open these doors, they show up. Same with the loaders. Very somewhat similar. I'm not going to say very, somewhat similar to Flight Factor. When you open the cargo doors, they rush to the plane. Well, these don't. First off, they're kind of a little out of sight. If you stayed right here, you wouldn't see them. They would be sitting about right here and then drive in. So I'll hand it to them. They put a little more Annie in it than most people are used to. But then you have these catering trucks that you can also include if you so choose. Again, you don't have to, folks, and I'll show you what I mean. You can just go with the doors are up and we're gone, like you see in the 319. All right, so we also have the main passenger door open. Whoop, let's get up a little higher so y'all can get a little look at the bird on the ground. RPC 49s sitting on the ramp. Gate 38, Terminal 2. All right, so let's pop in here, folks, and see what kind of damage we can do. First off, let's talk about those. Let's go back outside so we can see what we're talking about. Okay, you got the catering trucks here. Now, how you activate those? You go up here to plugins, go to Toliss, open your ISCS screen, your interactive simulation control system. So glad there's an acronym for that. Oh. Anyway, you come over here to ground services. Down here, aircraft doors. Now I have them set to open, not auto. But the only way the catering trucks show up is you got to first tick on for whatever you want, and then when you open them, they show up. Animated baggage loaders, same thing. You got to click that, and then they'll show up. You can't do that on the cheat screen, which is right here. I call it a cheat screen. Come down here. This actually is cool. But if you have those already checked off and you set those doors to open, boom, they come on. For the cargo doors, they're page 4 of 5, and they're right here. Again, once you set them, well, when you roll in auto, they come up. So, all right, so there we go, folks. Let's press on and get this bird going. We are early. Yes, we are. All right, so as our custom, hopefully things are behaving a little. Oh, it looks like they are. Of course they are. Let's get Sim Toolkit in here and let's talk about the flight real quick. We're going right down to here. If I could, let me zoom out a little bit. There we go. So basically, again, we're staying intra-country here of the Philippines. We're going from this island down to Cebu. Cebu. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. If not, it's just another in a long line of international conflicts I've started because I don't know how to pronounce things. All right, so for today, coming out of the Philippines, the METAR here, 120 at 7 with a variable wind. We're going to be using runway 6, as you can tell down here. And the neat graphic, I mean, it's all it is a neat graphic. Just gives you an idea how the winds are going with how you're going to take off. Unlimited visibility, few clouds at 2,500 feet. And it's a nice balmy day down here at 28 degrees Celsius. And according to this, no significant weather around. Yeah, what's this then? What's this? What's this? Not significant. All right, down in Cebu. Hey, nothing significant there either. 360 at 8 though, so runway 4 I believe is what we're aiming for. So and overall the weather isn't much different there, so. All right. Loadout for today. We are putting 172 people to the test of faith of flying with Mike. Payload of 37,840 pounds with a zero fuel weight of 135,000, all at 600 pounds. Ultimately, the goal is at least 13,795 pounds of fuel. Probably will be over that. And our cost index dispatch is throwing an anchor to us a little bit, putting us at 18, flight level 370. All right, so again, one last look. There's the routing to top a climb. And let's start getting her rolling, or as the man at the wrestling match would say, let's get ready to fly. All right, so primary already done in the plane, folks. We're powered up. Duh, we have power on the screens. The telltale that the batteries may or may not be on. We're on some kind of power because we do show the 3 green. All the screens are lit up. And our PFD. Remember, I told you, if you don't see these and you don't see this, folks, the batteries are not on. Let's see, get ready for a little shocker here. And we're in the 271. All right, real quick, let's do our preliminary. Parking brake set, flaps up, spoilers down, engine masters off, normal on the mode select. Does the throttles move? They do. Clear this off. Radios are on, transponders on, moving up, landing gear down 3 green, moving up even higher. Wipers are off. Tricked you, batteries are off. We're on the ground power though. Now, real airline pilot, V1 Sim said, a lot of times when they turn a plane and there's not going to be anyone on the flight deck, they'll leave it on with the external power, turn the batteries off. Now, sounds kind of weird, I know. But then when you think about it, let him go to the next sentence. If the external power loses power, what would happen, folks? Exactly, the batteries drain. Batteries are off, batteries aren't going to drain. The plane just drops power. You power up, you don't have to worry about, oh God, I don't have enough charge now. Of course, he did it more eloquently than I did. So anyway, so let's get those batteries on. Boom, boom. 28.5, 28.5. We're good. Lights are set. And we're ready to rock and roll. All right, let's just start working our way up. Still having some coughing fits, folks, but they're not as bad as Friday would have been a bad stream. So I'm glad I called that one off. And I do apologize. That was a lot I wanted to do on that stream. My body couldn't take it. Hang on a second. All right, I think we're good now. All right, so moving up, crew supply on the oxygen is good. Ground controls on so we can do a CVR test. Tone is it. Okay, we're just working our way up. Captain purse switch on. And let's go to nav. On bat. Okay, go to nav. On bat and off. And final one to nav. Get the on bat again and then off. Should be going to a line here any second. All right, coming back down while we wait. Okay, strobes are in auto. Landing lights, nav and logo lights. I've got them set on number 2. It's just in the wingtips, folks, you'll see 2 light bulbs for your red and greens. And basically it's set up so that if you have, say, nav logo set to 2, and when you do your walk around, yo, Joe, the lights aren't on out here. Yeah, they are. Switch it to the other one. Boom, the lights are on. Cool, let's go. That's basically a quick down and dirty way Flying with Mike looks at it. Anyway, moving over here, seatbelts. Still off. We haven't boarded yet. Auto on the smoking because we're about to fuel. And we'll do a light test. All looking good. Still looking good. And all the little light bulbs are on and back up. Off. Let's go ahead and shut the dome light down. Moving across auto, probe heats, engine and anti-ice off. Moving our way up the panels here. All right, so we've got this. Let's just go ahead and do a quick fire check. Okay. Warnings are all looking good. All right, and then finally, let's round it out over here. We're in data, and everything is, again, if the switch is actually on, it'll be dark looking. It's not like Boeing where it's going to light up a bulb to help Sylvania and GE pay for, get their light bulbs paid for. Okay, coming down again, 3 green, brake fan, auto brakes are off. We're on nose wheel steering and anti-skid to on. Time looks good, and we have it adjusted, folks. Yes, we do. 7 minutes to align on the IRS. We'll clear and clear. And then down in the bottom here, the FMCs we saw were on. Radios are on. Frequencies set. Multi-scan GCS are on, the rest off on the radar, and for now we'll keep the transponder, well, we'll switch it to on. All right. Why don't we say we fuel up this lovely plane. Excuse me, folks. All right, again, we are looking for 13,795. About the closest I think we'll get. We'll request a refuel. Okay, hang on. I like to make sure it's actually saying refueling up there. And what it's going to be doing, obviously, is lowering our fuel in the plane to 13,800. Refueling. Down. It's coming down. All right. And then we'll come over here. Go page 2. We need 172 brave souls to come fly with us. Okay, and load. All right, let's see how that's going to equate out. We're looking for 135.5. 608 is what I'm showing now. So you know what? I think we're going to be fine. We're not going to have to deal with any cargo issues. Yeah, it's not even worth it. That's just 11, 12 pounds, something like that. Yeah, we're good. All right, so come back to here. We've got those all cleared out. So we are loading with 5 minutes to go. All right, so what I do want to do, let's start clearing some of the items out. Now, if you really watch these things closely, I mean, they've gotten some detail in this animation. Notice the feet up and down for stabilization. I mean, that's pretty good, folks. That's a little attention to detail most people aren't used to with these. So I'll give Toliss that. I mean, even though it is nothing but eye candy, that's pretty good eye candy there for that. And we'll go auto, auto, and auto. And again, from the top, we'll watch them. Out they go. And now you'll see what I mean, how far away. See, you wouldn't even see this in Flight Factor because they only go to about right here and disappear. But they, you know, they get a good out of frame pretty decently. All right, so let's press on. Instead of having fun looking outside the aircraft, let's get back to where the action is. 3 minutes to align, so let's get that APU on. Start. Fuel pumps coming on. Looking for flap open. There it is. Start. All right, so believe it or not, we're actually ready to start with the McDo here anytime now. But we're going to get it fired up, get it putting the air in so then we can bring the passengers on board. We're going to have a little fun this morning. Okay, and we're just waiting for the word avail. Okay, now it automatically engages into the generator, so you don't have to click that. All we have to do then is come up here. See, we have to come off the external power, bleed air, and I'm going to do it from down here. Disconnect from the ground power. All right. So let's get after it here, shall we? Let's do it from here. 5. And let's bring charts in. Hopefully I have the charts. Okay, so we're sitting right here in Bay 38. 38's coordinates are November 1430.5 Echo 121.009. Okay, so we're looking good on this. Let's go to the init page, request. And there's the routing. And next will be the performance. Okay. We're going to go ahead and we look at it real quick. 18. Okay. This. So it's a little more use to me. All right. Okay, so we're aligned. 18. So when we go to the INS, oh, it's already aligned. You know what? That is the first time I've never been able to do that. All right, well, we'll go to the wind and request it. Okay, and next up will then be, where am I? Okay, flight number is in there. Oh, we are PAL. Well, hello there, Inusic 68. How are you? Still battling this cough. Yes, I am. And spilling my coffee along the way. How about that? Oh, what is our flight number today? Philippine 142. Yep, we're aligned. Okay. Well, there's nothing we can do about that. All right. So let's go to, I've got to figure out where it's at. Let's see. Let's go to the flight plan page. All right. And with our chart up here, anyway, what I was trying to say is we're in Bay 38 and the coordinates are right here. We didn't get to enter those, so that's a bummer. Oh well. But we're going out on the IPART, or IPATA 2 Romeo, I think it was. Yeah, 2 Romeo. All right, so for our departure, we are planning runway 6. So now let's look for our star. What 2 Alpha looks like. Anyway, we're going to go right. Yep. And we're going to insert. All right, now I'm going to start being able to look at the flight plan here and make sure nothing is out of whack. Besides the guy behind the stick. Oh, hang on, let me go ahead and clear that error out. Push that back. Oh, I love it when I have it in a place and then I mess it up. All right, pull this out. Let me see how this looks here. We'll get it as best we can, folks. No promises. That's pretty good. All right, so we're going to come off, as you can see on the charting here. LL06F to Tanu, the falls, at or above 11,000 feet at that point. So we got a pretty good climb out here, as we're going to travel about 23, 29, 37 miles to this point. Should have no trouble making that. All right, now to step through this. Boeing guys, of course, you know, you just click the step line select here. You just go the up or down. So we're going to go up. Call it IPATA. Call it where both come together and then out to IPATA. Real quick for our Departure brief, climb on course 062 to LL06 Fox, to Tanu, to Falls, at or above 11,000, to Kawit, to Ipata, on course. And there is no initial climb. All right, so from there, we then travel to Masaba, stand by, folks. Sorry about that. Had a dog that just has to bark at anything that moves, including a shadow. All right, so Bate, back to our routing to Bate. Now, from here, we're going to enter our arrival. So we'll go to arrival. Now, we've got an RNAV for runway 4. Okay, and it goes from Bate, Akimo, Atzer, Tonyo. And then we loop in on it. Oh, this is our arrival, our RNIP arrivals to Tonyo. Okay, so we're going to be doing the RNIP 04. Coming in on the Ate 3 Pop. Pay very close attention to spelling here. Look at that, folks. That's why I was very slow here. Okay, so that's going to take us to now Toyo. Oh, I think Tonyo is, yeah, there we go. So we have our RNAV approach, Tonya, actually our Beta 3 Papa Star to the Tonya transition onto the RNAV 4 arrival. Insert. Okay, so let's look at it. So back at here, it gets a little confusing. So at or above 10,000 at Bate, Akilo, Atzer, Toinyo, over to Boyer. Now we got to switch here to get to this chart here. Okay, so we're coming off Tonya. Now we're going to be at 4,000 feet, 250 at Tonya. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and plug that. Oh, it is set. This says at or above. We're going hard altitude, 4,000. Yep, temporary insert. Okay, that way Boyer will be 3,000. VM 004, 2,400 or above. Oop, I got rid of it. My bad. Hang on, let's revert. There we go. And we start the RNAV in. Okay, so again, let's look at it. Step, step, step. Last one, VM04, Mike 4 Bravo. And then we're headed for the runway, folks. Now, if it's in blue, that's our missed approach. Missed approach, as you can see here. Make this turn to Jotham, out to Durango, and we'll probably restart it from there. Not going to worry about too much on the setup for that. Okay. Now, in the event, we are going to go to our alternate, which happens to be right back there. What I plan to do is worry about it then. We'll take off, we'll in our hold, and then shoot. But if you wanted to, you could go to departure, or now with the, hang on a second, I'm just going to go ahead and pull it up real quick. Our flight plan, if we were to do that, hang on, there it is, would be to the MOLO P4 departure. You're all going, how in the heck do you know that? Show it to you in a second here. From Molopo, we then go to Moloch. Oh, wait. So Molopo. Okay, that's it for there. To Moloch. Okay, and now from Moloch to Sager, Kandy, and then we come into RPL. RPL again arriving to the ILS runway 6. This is telling us on the Conda 7R. Again, I will try to remember to show this. Con 7R. Okay, hang on. I'm going to look at this real quick. 6. A star. Okay, so basically what we would be doing, folks, is flying into Toliss, looking around for the approach. So that'll be no. And insert. And what we've done is basically traced our way right back to where we started. Now, how did I know this? Okay. And, you know, I did not test this to start with, so bear with me because I am going to make sure it works prior to. Okay. Now let me go ahead and get rid of that. Put that back in ARC. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this. How I knew this, folks. Okay, here's SimBrief. And first off, what a great format it's in now. Unbelievable. I mean, that change did a lot. Okay, I'm going to move this out of the way. Okay, I must have the mouse turned off. Anyway, where you see the words briefing, I'm kind of right there. This is in what's called the American Airlines format. So when you go to SimBrief, okay, folks, you set your flight up. Now you have an option to set in what format it will look like. What airlines format. Folks are pretty close. From what I've heard from some real dispatchers, kind of scary how close they've gotten it. But where that shows up is in this box right here. And I'm going to try, and there we go. So it's right in here. Now, this is the very top of it. It gives you the quick blurb. Okay, we're IFR. Yeah, we're not CEB 579. We know that already. It's been established. I just didn't want to go through and have to reset everything up again. Okay, so tells us our fuel, how much en route fuel and all of that good stuff. But then alternate route, meaning the route to our alternate. So from Cebu, which is our destination. See, if you look up here, Manila to Cebu, alternate Manila. Right at the very top under how do you read this briefing. Right next to the tail number, RPRC 9999. Okay, go down a little further, you'll see alternate route. 38,000, Cebu, on the Molo for Papa, remember that, to Moloch. Then we take the Whiskey 1 to Condi, to the Cond 7R, Manila. And voila, folks, and then you can see the route again. And then here is the blue dash is our route back to the alternate, which in this case is back to Manila, but wherever that would be. So that's kind of why I like American. It puts it real easy to find this stuff so you can get your flight plans set up. Now, if you're at a place where you think they're going to switch runways or they have a specific engine out requirement, put a secondary flight plan in, folks. All you got to do is click it and go, or not. All right. So again, let's go back here and continue on. So the flight plan itself is loaded. Moving on. Now we're going to check the NAVRAD or RAD nav page, and nothing is set, so that is good. Moving on, back to the initialization page. I'm going to go to the page 2 using one of these arrows. So I'm just going to go to the left or to the right, verify our numbers. And yes, sorry for the sniffle in your ears. Sorry, I hate doing that, folks. All right, so let's go reset to current. 24 or 29.4, hang on. Zero fuel of 135,605, that looks good. Fuel 13.3, 13.8. Now, mind you, we have been burning some. So the only thing I am going to do is put a slash 29.4. Boom. And I'm going to leave it at that. Make sure the rest of these numbers are good and looks good to me. I'm not 100% sure what a bad look would be. Your secondary flight plan, folks, this is where you could copy it and set it up. And then you would activate it right there if you needed to. We're going to go to the perf page instead. Okay, we're going to come right back here. Now there's, well, actually, no, we're going to did it again. Oh, I hate this sometimes. Now, we got a couple ways to do this. Now, there's a site you can go to check all of this stuff, folks. By, it's pretty good. I don't know if they're set up for the Neos. I'll be totally honest. Hang on a second. I'm getting some coffee real quick here. And I do know we've been on the ground quite a long time here, but I promise you we're getting ready to go. So we could set it all up here. All I do, though, is come through here and verify the data. So winds 120 at 7. Okay, so they're a little off. Now this could be a little Aussie. 27. We're actually 28. Would it have been bad? No. And 2988. We'll leave that's fine for the altimeter. Dry, anti-ice off, toga. And they're calling it, I'm going to go ahead and run with air conditioning on. Now that's one way to do it. Now if you had an intersection, you could put that in with the feet. You could also click here Hang on a second, folks. All right, folks, back with you, getting some marching orders. All right, so hang on here. Let's see what transition. That's not helping me. 11,000. Okay, so we're just confirming 11,000. Now, you could do this, click compute. There's your numbers for a toga takeoff V1 from 115 to 143. And it shows you where, your numbering is. Not bad. Or come over here and do an uplink. Okay. All right, so we got to switch our winds here to 120 diagonal 7. All right, QNH, let's check that because unfortunately, okay, so we're 1011. 2987, 1011. Okay, so that's good. We'll go ahead and go with that. Now, if you wanted to flex, now let's take a look at that. This is what we get the option here. Let's say we want to flex. Oh, wrong one. Put that one. Compute. There you go, folks. You got an 11,000-foot runway. It is kind of warm. It is kind of muggy. It is a tropical island, hope. But the option would be there for you if you wanted to flex it. I'm going to go ahead and toga it. But if you did, you've got your numbers. And if you just click here, it'll set it up for you that way. Okay, so we're going to go as is, received, and V1, 143, V rotate, 147 we'll put in, and 149. And how's everything else? Up 3, looking good. Insert. And then what we'll do, okay, so we'll go with 147 for rotate. And then 149. We flexing? I'm on flex still, dang it. It's still not going to hurt us. 149. Oh, whoa. Okay. Now, I have alluded to this. Black Box 711's another real Airbus pilot out there, folks. Has a website that if you really want to get this McDo to its maximum, you could put in this thrust and acceleration reductions, your engine out accelerations. Their formulas, I guess, I don't know how that's all formulated. Or you can leave them as they default, which to me is good enough. All right, so there you go, folks. The McDo is ready to go, and so are we. All we have left to do is set the inside here. Oop. Got used to a different airplane. All right, so 110 LS constraints. Constraints LS over here. Set. And then coming across, we're going for 37. Everything looks good here. All right, we are ready to go. Let's take a look here real quick. Okay, looking here at sim aware. Um, all right, so we're ready to go. All right, so I meant to stay down here. Let's go ahead, close up our door, go to auto. Door is closed. Jetway's away. And let's get our beacon on. Bear with me a second, folks, while I get the flight set up into the ACAR system. Just takes a couple seconds for Mac Airs to load up. And yeah, folks, we're flying for Millennium Aviation today. If you're looking for a VA, it's a good one to look into, folks. They offer a lot of different ways to fly, be it the open division where you fly whatever's on their schedule, or you can, or apply to the charter, cargo, or professional lines and increase what you can fly. Plethora of aircraft and airlines to choose from. So all of those liveries you have, folks, you can use them here. That's one of the things I really like. I've got now a ton, and I have to say, Captain Mac, thank you so much for making me have to get them all. No, you don't have to fly with them, folks. But if you have them, you can use them. So, all right, so we got the schedule found. Let's head back to PyReps. And now the fun part, like I say. A320. I'm going to have to start from the top. And there's a bunch. All right. So bear with me here. I may be quiet for a few seconds looking for this airplane. You would think after all the years I've been flying over here at Mac Air, I would know if I have to set up my airline or not if I'm using it. But then again, they can sit back and laugh at me that way too. Ah, found it. Load. Their max packs never matches mine. Hang on just a second, folks. My apologies for that break, folks. The dog is just not happy. All right, so we're going to 37,000 and my routing real quick. Okay. All right, so we're on Mac Air. Again, my apologies, folks. Okay, let's get better pushback in here and let's get this thing pushed back. We've been on the ground way too long.
Ground to cockpit. Please show me where you want to go. Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
All right, so with all of that, folks, I still got that window opened. All we got to do is remove the chocks. There's our tug. Actually, it looked like the A. Oh my gosh, I hit someone. Let's get rid of the chocks and let's do it, folks.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect. Tow connected and bypassed and inserted. Release parking brake.
Brakes released. Here we go, folks.
Starting pushback. And you may start engines.
Oh, again, I'd like to thank you all for coming aboard here on Flying with Mike. Hope y'all enjoy the ride today. Headed over to Cebu, and if time permits, we'll try another flight. Right now, with the way things have gone, the way this dog's acting, I don't know if we're going to have it or not. I may have to spend more time with him, so. All right, so let's, stay focused on what we have, and who knows what it'll be like when we get there. All right, so to start the engines on an Airbus, folks, it's real simple. Matter of fact, it's pretty simple on any. The neat thing is you don't even have to touch the packs. Where in the Boeings, you got to turn them off manually. So all you do here, folks, first off, get rid of that. Switch over to start. Well, you know what? Yeah, we'll just go ahead and crank on it. Number one. Let's see what we can hear. Yeah, we're not able to hear much. Usually you can, and I'm not sure why we're not.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
Okay, parking brake is set. Show me the pins.
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
All right, with that, folks, we can now start number 2.
Tow is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the right. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
All right, we got the signal. All right, let's start a timer. All right, 3 minutes. Let's get this thing going. Okay, with the engine started, we'll come down here, move this back to normal. All right, head up top, and we'll get the bleed air off. Packs confirm are on, and shut down the APU. Okay, we'll come into the middle now. Brake fan on. Set that. Set the auto brakes. Going to the weather radar. Turning it to 2 for this flight. We'll come up. Okay, and spoilers, arm, flaps. I believe it's 1. Yeah, flaps 1. A second here, folks. Flaps 1 and our trim to 0.3 up. All right, so here. Just need that trim to read 0.3. While we're at it, let's go ahead. Check our surfaces, even though we would do that while we're taxiing. Again, sorry, folks. Okay, and with that, we're at 2.5 minutes. Parking brakes, takeoff config. Let's come out of this. Okay, cabin needs to be And a test. Good. And we're ready to... Oh, we got to warm them up. Engines are still a bit on the chilly side. Just giving them a nice little quick warm up here. All right, folks, and we'll have that last warning message out here shortly. All right, so we'll just taxi on down. We may have to delay just a little bit here. Max is set, and transponder is TARA. Make sure. Okay, and no longer needing a takeoff delay. Again, we're going from Manila in the Philippines to Cebu, Cebu Island, Philippines. For some reason I thought I needed to make the turn there, and I was wrong. So enjoy the ride, folks. It's about an hour down to Cebu, so we'll kind of see how things are. All right. Final checks for takeoff. 1 and 2. Once we're at the holding line, we'll turn the packs off. Okay. Holding short. So holding packs 1 and 2 going off. Okay. I always like to read in the takeoff notes that they do tell us to turn them back on. All right, let's head out. Manila traffic, Philippine 142 departing 6 on the IPATA 2 Romeo departure. Here we go. Not sure why many airports do this with that taxiway like that. I mean, in essence, it was a displaced threshold, but I don't get why they don't mark it as such. All right, clear for takeoff, lights on, strobes are up, and we're ready to go. And you know what? Just for safety's sake, engine anti-ice coming on. Toga takeoff. Okay, 50 and stabilized. There we go. Toga. Blue, green.
V1, rotate, V2.
Okay, positive rate gears coming up.
Gear up.
the autopilot take it from here. Packs on. Okay, and spoilers. Almost put the flaps up a little early. All right, folks, we are airborne out of Manila. Currently progressing our way to Tana, and then on to Falls, and we have definitely got 11,000, I think, pretty well nipped in the butt. Other than that, folks, we are doing well on the climb. Let's go ahead and go to the flight plan page in case we get a direct. And up, and away we go. Okay, at 10,000, the landing lights can go off now. Oh my goodness, this snows. Well, it'll be like this for a couple of days. And we just hit transition, so set to standard, and away we go.
1,000 feet.
Alright, as you heard, we are through transition. So I'm going to go ahead and kill the wing lights. Alright. Again, looking out at the clouds here, which look phenomenal in, I'm sorry, they really look good, folks, for a flight sim. Granted, they could be a whole lot better. Of course they could. But for default, I'm not complaining. Sorry. Looks good to me. According to Similware, we've got a pretty good cell ahead of us. It doesn't look like much, but on Similware it does. See what it looks like on Sim Toolkit here, and I'll bring it up for y'all. Actually, on Sim Toolkit, it's not actually showing up. So, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I guess it's going to be like one of those things. If a tree falls in the woods and you don't see it, did it really make a sound? If Similware says there's a storm out there and nobody else does, is there really a storm out there? All right, we continue our climb now on up to 25,000. I'm sorry, on up to 37,000 out of 26,000. So enjoy the ride, folks. I hope if you are enjoying this, I would love for y'all to click that follow button. Follow us for our next adventure, which will hopefully be Wednesday. Well, if you're on Twitch, just below you there in the notes, you'll see a schedule of what we have planned this week. If you click follow, you'll get a live notice knowing when we go live. Or, of course, you could always join in on our Twitch or a Discord channel. And I have a schedule there as well. There's an invite in the chat room for you. Right now, I'm scheduling the A319 out of Cincinnati for a flight. And then Thursday, we're going to head back to FedEx and see what kind of damage we can do out of Fort Worth. So beyond that, things are going to kind of ease again. We got family coming over for the upcoming weekend, and so that may put a little bit of a crimping into it because I believe they're here into next week as well, so I don't want to plan anything where we can't interact with family. So yeah, there's what you got right now, folks. Also, if you were on the Discord channel, you know this stream was set to start at 16Z, yet lit off at 15:30. That's why I say around. I just couldn't wait 30 minutes, folks. So anyway, there's how you can find out where we are, what our times are and all. We don't really, like some streamers, have that ability to say, this is when we start. Wish I did, but I don't. Working a 24-hour shift, folks, I come home, and there are times I can't will myself to move until certain times of the day, and it's only going to get worse as we go into summer. So, and I'm not looking for a pity party, folks. That's just the way the job is. You know, is what it is. And you complained out there about it, but you know, hey, you sign up for it. That's what you get. If you don't want it, man up, find another job. So, and I know my employer doesn't like me saying that, but that's the way I feel. You knew it going in, you just didn't want to believe it going in. So, but anyway, enough of that. We're not there today. We're here and enjoying the Philippines. So, but that's how you can find out where we're going to be and when we're going to be. So, hope you all have had a great Easter. Hope you kept the reason what Easter is all about forefront. It's all about the resurrection of Christ. Sorry, kids, not about a bunny rabbit. It's about a lamb that was sacrificed on a cross. The lamb being Jesus Christ. And Sunday we celebrate the resurrection of Jesus Christ. So, hate to break it to you, kids, but yeah, that's really what Easter is about. So, anyway, we'll continue on. Hope y'all enjoy the ride. And by the way, we're going to talk a little bit more once we hit top of climb. So, all right, we're at 32. And dog is still going nuts, folks. All right, he settled down. Good. Oh well. Did I forget something? No. Why did it pause? Huh, interesting. Not sure why the pause, folks, but it paused. All right, a real quick check ahead here. The weather in the Cebu area. Right now, scattered a few clouds at 3,200, broken 25,000. Looks like we got a pretty good approach into Cebu. 360 and 6 on the wind, so we'll enjoy it. A bunch of SIGs off to the east over the ocean and eastern portions of this main island, but hopefully we'll be able to get into Cebu without any trouble. All right, we are reaching top of descent right now, or top of climb, my bad. Let's go to perf. Actually, let's stay here. Top of descent lies, and we got a few miles to it, so that's cool. Let's get on the perf page though here. Get this top of climb made, and we'll be in cruise. And there we are into the cruise phase. All right, top of descent, 95 miles out. I want to run a devotion by you today about Easter, which we just went through. And the verse that we have from verse of the day is actually a pretty good verse for the day after Christmas. Or day after Christmas. Did I just say that? Holy mackerel, I just realized what I said. Wow, day after Easter. Which, you know, honestly though, Resurrection Sunday, you know, I hate to say this to you folks, it's probably one of the greatest events that occurred in human history. Now, I can hear a lot of you going, no, it isn't. Name to me one that would be more poignant, more pivotal, more shocking than Resurrection Sunday, the day Jesus rose from the tomb. That is, like I said, the greatest event that ever occurred. A couple of reasons why. Because if it didn't happen, folks, if he did not come out of that tomb, then how could we claim Jesus to be the Christ, the Messiah? Meaning, everything he taught, everything that built up to Palm Sunday and then the crucifixion, all of it was for naught. And add to it, there's no hope of an eternity promised throughout his entire earthly ministry and prophecy prior to him going back dawn of time. And how could we be redeemed and restored for the sins that we commit daily? All of that hinged on the resurrection, folks. Hinged that Jesus was who Jesus said he was. You know, greatest news though, greatest event of all time, he did rise out of the... And here's a I hate to break this one to a lot of people. If that resurrection never happened, you can't have Christianity. Yet, for well over 2,000 years, people try to prove, can't disprove it whatsoever that it didn't happen. Except in their own minds, because they just won't accept it. But the greatest news of all time, Jesus did come out of that tomb. Jesus did and was resurrected. And as of today, folks, 2,000 plus years later, sits at the right hand of God the Father, redeeming us from the death that our sins cause. And again, to the life that Jesus promised us forever. That's what Paul is saying here in this verse to the Colossian church. Therefore, as you received Christ Jesus the Lord, so walk in him, rooted and built up in him, established in the faith, just as you were taught, abounding in thanksgiving. Many say we need to rebrand Christianity to make it more all-encompassing. Now, there's a party in politics for all-encompassing people. No, there's no need to repackage this message, folks. It's just as Paul said, just walk it out as you were taught. There's no rebranding to God's incredible gift of grace to us by forgiving us of our sins. Just the simple realization Jesus resides in each of us who professed Christ is the Son of Man, is the Son of God, is our Savior. Jesus Christ lives in you through a helper he promised through the Gospels. If you read Mark, Matthew, Luke, and John, the Holy Spirit. He leads us, he guides us among paths of righteousness, restoring our souls while leading us into our permanent home we find in heaven. So folks, Easter was and still is the greatest event to ever occur in human history, second only to when Jesus comes again. So I hope you all had a great Easter. And again, kids, I don't mean to be the one to be the doubting Thomas. There is no bunny rabbit. It's all about Jesus as our Savior. So I hope you all have a great day, great week. Just remember, Jesus is there. You have to acknowledge Jesus. He died for you. You just have to look up and go, thank you, Lord. Please save me from my sins. And you're on your way. Just as we are on our way, folks, to Cebu, reaching the equal time point along our route. That's what's denoted here. And we're 47 miles from a top of descent. Let's hit the next phase a couple times. Fill out the paperwork. Where is it? There it is, Cebu. We got a QNH of 1010. Come on, there we go. 27 for the temperature. And And for a wind, I think we're 350 now. 350 at a diagonal of a 4. And the RNIP, we're looking at 389 AGL, radio altimeter. Okay, so our information is plugged. 38 to go. Let's head over here and plug it in here. 350-282 dry off. Oh, what's our runway? 10,000? Let me look at something here for our parking. We're going to come off at Echo, so we'll leave it at low. Reverse on. Compute. So our VAP will be 137. For the RNIP, that means about 750 feet a minute descent, folks, from our mandatory at 2,400 feet at VM04B into the airport. All right, here we go. Top of descent at the curve. Oh, and I do apologize for the sniffles, folks. Shooting for 4,000, so dial that in. Okay, and let me check our weather up ahead. I got a little cell right there at Masaba, which I think we're getting ready to zigzag around, which isn't showing up on my radar. Not the O'Reilly type. Definitely got some good texture up here to these clouds. And we should be within 20 now. Oh, we just hit it. Alright, now we could do one of two things here, folks. We could do a managed descent down to 4,000 or open descent. Now, what's the difference? Open means we go to idle, nose over, and down we go. We control the descent. Managed, the aircraft does it. So I'm going to start managed. And probably step up to it. And this little crookedy line right here, folks, that's where we should meet up. There's a green dot that'll come down that needs to be right in between the magnifying glass there. Once it's in there, we're right on profile. Right now, we're just kind of easing on down, but we're going to probably steepen it up and go more open afterwards. All right, and again, transition level is 11,000. Let me double check our... Okay, 13. What's 2,000 feet among fans? Come on. Okay, and there we go into the turn. Just extend out a little bit. Now let's see what happens. We're about to meet up, see if we steepen up well enough. But again, folks, if you would hit follow, we'd sure love to see you on our next streams. Folks, if by chance you're watching this replayed on YouTube, hey, come on over, join us at Twitch here. There's a link down in the notes there. Join us. You know, come over, see the page, find out when we're flying, go to our Discord chain. We'd love to have you on one of our live streams. And we'd also like to meet and greet you, so we'd love to have you over here. And if you're on Twitch and you miss something, folks, it's eventually going to be over at YouTube, because all I do is take what we do here, put it up on YouTube. And then you can kind of giggle when you go, what did that mean that he was saying? And who was he talking to? And well, all that fun stuff. And yes, we just met up with it. And our descent just steepened. So we are getting in there, folks. We're through 30,000 feet now, headed for an arrival at Cebu. Well, let's see what it looks like out the nose. Actually, nothing. I guess we're in what could be a rainstorm, don't know. Here we go, starting to pop out. That are just big scary clouds. And I do get a lot of questions, folks, both over at, oops, not that page, YouTube and occasionally here on Twitch. What do we put in these two? Okay. When you're looking at your chart, let me pull up the chart here. Okay, when you're looking at our RNIP arrival, or ILS, you're going to have an area here where it's your minimum descent altitude or height. Now, the bold number, that is barometric, altimeter. Think altimeter, okay? That's what goes here. Your altimeter is really a barometer, okay? Radio is what's in parentheses here. In this case, 389. Radio, think radio altimeter, feet above the ground. Now, the only difference in those two numbers is altimeter reads above sea level. Radio altimeter reads what you are actually above the ground. So let's say you're out in the Andes where it's already 10, 12,000 feet. Well, your MSL is going to read 10, 12, 13,000 feet. Your AGL will be whatever that is actually above the ground itself, not above sea level. So that's the difference there. But if you look at the two numbers, they're the exact same amount. So 410 MSL here is 389 feet above the ground because our touchdown is 21 feet. Add it to it, boom, you're right on it. In essence, the same number, just read differently. One is above the ground, radio. One is above sea level, baro. Hope that made sense. Now, if you were with us, no, you wouldn't have been, because, yeah, we were, wait a minute, did I? No. The day I wasn't able to stream last week, Good Friday, I did fly the flight out anyway, just something, to keep me busy, and was able to connect ACARS up. Granted, we didn't do much with it, oh well, but we actually did connect to a controller, so we did get the next cog going. Now I just need to learn how to communicate through it so we can make it more effective, because it was dynamite for what it did, because my voice was weak and I really didn't want to talk much, and it saved a lot of that. So, anyway, folks, we are getting closer. Matei is right ahead of us at 20 miles. And then we make our turn for Aquino and then Atzer. Again, a not so, it's a very interesting day. I did this a few weeks ago with the A319, not on stream. I forgot what, I think Hawker just wanted to go up and fly. And this is where we flew, and boy, that we have some very well pronounced thunderstorms down here. Just it was amazing. So I thought, you know what? I need to start working into where a stream could fly out of here. Work a little bit in the Philippines, back in the Far East, get back into some of the fun places here. Of course, we can't, ever rule out Hong Kong, and some of the fun that's there in Hong Kong, along with a few of the other places out here. So, um, so yeah, that's why we're starting things back up here in the Far East, and see where it leads us. All right, there's Batey because we're making the turn. I believe, folks, this is, I want to call it Cebu Island, but I'm not going to go so far to say that. I think it's because Cebu City is where we're going. Cebu City, however that's pronounced. And make a nice run on the RNIP here. Let y'all see the route ahead of us here. Again, not showing up much. Let's see what's out the wings here. Trying to figure out what I like more. The tinting of the window or not. Sorry, folks. Wow, look at the texturing on the first. So that's like Mammatus clouding, folks. Wow. Again, hat off to Laminar and these volumetric. It was the word. Oh, I was trying to tip my tongue and now I can't say it. Anyway, the developers of Laminar came up with, and they look great. My apologies. Oh, may 58 be a better years of age than it is to my memory. Where are we again? Oh, anyway, as we continue on. Austin. Thank you, folks, for that. Yeah, I mean, these clouds, as Austin put it last Oshkosh air show, volumetric clouds. All right, we're coming up on Needing the speed brakes. Oh, we got somebody in the traffic area here. Awesome. All right, we're at 10,000 feet, folks. Ashley 78X, welcome in. I thought I saw you out ahead of us. All right. Make sure you clear that runway really wide for me, because I'm going to need it all widthwise, not lengthwise. Now, I watched a great show yesterday, folks. Foods that made America. Actually quite interesting to watch. Campbell's soup, of course, Hershey, and some interesting ones like the invention of the green bean casserole. That was quite an interesting little segment, or I don't even know if that was what the whole show was about. I kind of came in halfway on it. It was originally called a green bean bake instead of a casserole. They changed that to new language in the 50s that came out. Pretty interesting show about the foods that made America. So, if you ever get a chance, if you can catch the series, it was on History Channel. It was pretty neat to watch. Okay, back into clouds. All right, I need to pay attention to this RNIP. All right, so it's maximum 250 at Tonio, and then we're going to be pulling the power back, I'm pretty sure. All right, we're headed down to 4,000 in the clouds again. Not too bad. Oh, the masked bandit lost its mask. I'm not a fan of that, folks. Here it comes back. Just not a big fan of that on the paint jobs, but that's all we had for Philippines, so that's why I didn't fly the new Aegean paint scheme, because I just don't like that masking. So, just a simple man. All right, Tonio is 7 miles. Here we go, folks. All right, let's see. Can we see the airport from here? Probably not. Somebody put all those mountains in there. Good Lord. I bet that's my answer, who put all those there. All right. Cebu traffic, Philippine 142 over Tonya for the RNIP runway 4. Okay, let me just make sure my altimeter has not changed. Tune to 10. Good deal. Oh, we're not descending. Why are we not descending? All right, bringing it down to 220. And the co-pilot has arrived.
To 2500.
All right, folks, so we are now setting up for it. Coming down to Boyer. That is at 3,000, and then we begin our descent down to 2,400, which we'll do after these mountains. Let's see what we see in the distance. Memory serves, Cebu is like right out here, I think. That's if I remember this approach. I've only flown it one other time, folks, so coming over Boyer, and we'll set 2,400.
$2,500.
Okay, let's put on low for the brakes. And we are past Boyer, so we'll begin our descent. So that we end up at VM04 Bravo, which, real quick, give you a look here at the chart. Okay, we're coming into Alpha. We're going to be heading to Bravo, so it'll be 7-mile final. Then we head on in. I think we're making the turn right now. So I'm going to go ahead and start slowing us. And that's a maximum, by the way, folks. So that does not mean you have to be at it. But for our purposes, it allows us to begin putting a flap or two notch in. And we're just about at. Yeah, there's that channel. I remember that. And I sure don't see a runway. Well, I'm going to try it. It shows it. Let's try it. I think I got the runway now in sight. Right there. Okay, setting 140.
2,500.
All right, set the spoilers. Auto brake, line select on. Definitely have it okay. Brake fan spoilers go around. Altitude is 2,000. Let's get rid of that. I said let's get rid of that. Oh, there it goes. All right, so we're set. I'm going to take over, folks. Okay, looking good on the approach. Flaps full. Cebu traffic, Philippine 142, 3-mile final, runway 4. I guess that would be a nice thing to include as the landing gear.
Gear down.
500.
Who needs all that stinking drag?
400.
Landing. 3 green, brake set, spoilers set.
300. 200. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20. 10.
Welcome to Cebu. Have not seen what the landing recorded. Brakes. And we're going to get off at our intended point. Brakes disarmed. To the ramp. Off at Echo. Cebu traffic, Philippine 142 off at Echo to Delta. All right, to the ramp we go, to the ramp we go. Lap is open, APU is on. I say we go to, let's see here. All right, let's get those strobes off. I think we'll take gate number 2 here. All right, welcome in. Oh, we got some brakes that are a little bit heated. All right, nothing to worry about, folks. What are the temps? 400. We'll be okay. All right, and okay, let me kill one engine here. Beacons off. And there we go, folks. We are in the stand. And let's see how we did on that landing. Oh, you can see, hang on, as the trucks are starting to arrive. Now, that food truck is not ours. That's one of those default ones that drive around. You saw what they looked like there in Manila. We won't be using them here. But we will get one more loading cart out here, or bag loader. So anyway, enough on that. The main door is open, and we are beginning to unload. You have a blown tire? Cooked your brakes. Well, that might be why you blew the tire. That would be interesting. Which version are you flying of the A320? Is that the Neo from Toliss or Flight Factor? Because be curious if they simulate the plug blowing. Oh, my nose. Sorry about that, folks. All right, let's recap. Let me 264. All right, I'll take that. Stop flight. File. All right, and the Neo. Okay, well, if it's Toliss, there's a good chance what they did, you get a certain temperature, there's a plug in the rim, if memory serves, and it blows into the tire to when you get hot brakes, and that's probably what blew it. But yeah, that is awesome that they're simulating that. Bad in the fact that now you got to reset the aircraft, but but that's awesome that they simulate the that plug that blows. With hot brakes. Wow. Because that's the big thing we in the crash firefighting world watch out for with hot brakes, is how we approach so we don't get hit by that plug or fragments coming from it. Okay, so let's bring up Sim Toolkit. Go ahead and close that out. He says cautiously. All right, Sim Toolkit. Oh, they got us at 210. All right, I'll let you all see that here too. There we go, Sim Toolkit. You can see the nice autopilot that Otto did. He did a great job flying most of the approach till I took over and botched it all up. No. But 210's not bad. Let's go over here to flight summary, click finish. Okay, and all right, so now let's go here. Viewing the details. And full landing report. Oh, liking that landing speed. Wow. All right, real quick recap, folks. The blue dot here, that is the end of the runway threshold. From there forward is where you're supposed to land. If you land in those chevrons, shame on you. But it's a flight sim. It ain't gonna, it's not a bad thing. Real world could be a lot of FOD in there. But anyway, this is what we aim for right here visually. These big, they stand out, folks. They're anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000 feet down the runway. All these hashes are 500 feet indicators down the runway, giving you an idea how much you've used. Conversely, how much you have left. All right. And as you can see, we managed to be about 1,600 feet down the runway, 1,600 and almost 1,700. And we're about 8 feet off the center, which once you get the nose up, folks, and get low enough, it does get kind of tricky to see. But not bad. 1.89 Gs. Hey, that's really not all that bad, Ashley. Good job. Well, a little fast, but hey. I'm going to tell you right now, any landing you walk away from is always a good landing. Anyway, so on ours, we were 210 feet per minute. Not bad. 1.3 Gs and 132 knots. Again, Otto did all the hard work getting us into position. I took over to try to bring it in decently, so that's actually not too bad. All right. Okay, I'm trying to debate if I've got the time. Actually, I do not think right now I do. My granddaughter is here, and while she's here, I need to spend time with her. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead. We're going to go ahead and replay this landing. And then sign out of here. Well, maybe. There we go. Whoa. Cut it out. There we go. And so hang on. Really acting up right now, folks. There we go. First thing I have to do is disconnect from VATSIM. For some reason, they don't like us going back and forth on the radar screen. And get the jetway away. And everything cleared away. and we're going to try and review the landing. All right, folks. That's going to be the best we can get the music volume to. All right, let's kind of speed it up a little. Look at that, man, keeping it clean to the landing. That's cool that it's got an alert for you to let you know gear is still up. All right, well, we'll do the best we can with the sound settings that we're not able to change. Just a little early on my flare. Again. And a nice welcome to Cebu. Okay, overall, not too bad. Let's look right out the nose cam.
200. 100. 40, 30, 20, retard, 10.
Not bad. Let's take a look out some of the seats.
100.
One more time, folks. Well, folks, this was a fun indeed trip as it was. I'm gonna bring it in. Let's take a look at it from the tower view. But folks, it was fun. I had a blast. I hope you all did this day after Easter. Folks, hopefully we'll be out again today, a little later, for another flight. If not, we'll see you on Wednesday with a flight out of Cincinnati in the 319. Till then, folks, you all have a blessed day. God bless you all, and we'll see you all next time. Y'all have a great night.